sons and daughters. Never give them alls in return. Niggas never wanna learn till they laying in the urn. Babylon, 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 you got to burn. Even if I gotta go with it, so fuck it, is you with it? Niggas never feel froggy, they just wanna rip it. If I see a bad bitch, then I gotta rip it. Your lip looking like the Red Sea when I split it. Tell me why that flow so vicious. Every time he switches, beat a nigga ass like mama did with switches. You niggas looking real gay. Where are the bitches? I mean, where are the sisters? Better stay away from witches. That's a brouhaha. Love me if she brew ya. White people he brew now. If you didn't know, then you do now. You belong to me. Yeah. Alright. This nigga's bonkers. From the same city as the Knickerbockers. Name ring bells from here to Yonkers or Nicaragua. You niggas too thirsty, you need some agua. I ain't talking Fina. When they kill my dog, I ain't hear shit from Peter. These niggas talk Kent, but they really mean FEMA. Captain cut his eye, got more stripes than Adidas. If you ain't a bad bitch, then get the fuck off my penis. 1-2 step with a meat tree drip. Keep my circle tighter than my meat tree is. If I don't fuck with you, you a piece of shit. When I dip, you dip, we dip, we dip. This the type of shit that I sing to my bitch. No 6ix9ine, we don't sing no snitch. Gotta love that bass. Social distance, I love my space. Tell Karen, get the fuck out my face. We ain't never switching up on our race. You belong to me. It's you, baby. One more time. Gotta love that bass. Social distance, I love my space. Tell Karen, get the fuck out my face. We ain't never switching up.
This a Batman tune. I promise you. This shit lit, cuz. This shit lit. Alright? Run that joint.
Niggas looking for the light. Me and my niggas prepared for the dog. Yeah. So we gon' get it on for the last days, nigga. You already know what it is. 140 for the rebel.
They in the building, we in the spot. We can go to war and see who make it out. Earn your stripes, dog, you with us or not. We can get it on when it's on, it don't never stop. First you get that power, gotta hold it down. Watch your step, boy, you on holy ground. They in the building, we in the spot. We can go to war, let's see who make it out. It's a problem, tell them pop off. I die for I let my colors fly, boy. For a nigga take me, they a drop dead. AR, clean them up like a mop pig. Say he cool, he bad, he really so tough. They like, damn, look what he did, it really go rough. Little bitch think she Kiki Palmer, silly hoe. She know I'm that bull, but I ain't from Philly though. From the city where they sing about that ribbon like petty poops. Know them niggas plotting, gotta deal with me. Can't catch me slipping, got to steal with me. Just left Alabama, bought a chopper from some hillbilly move. He made my feel the blade. Leave them all bruised, come through like a plague. Rebel off the leash like a dog out the cage. Call me Johnny Blaze on Run West May. Watch your step get stretched like a limousine. So my brother bring that blade back wet, that's my enemy. A little nigga, this that cold, need to talk. Niggas know I got blood in my cup, I just sip it like it's grenadine. They in the building, we in the spot. We can go to war, let's see who make it out. Earn your stripes, dog, you with us or not. We can get it on when it's on, it don't never stop. First you get that power, gotta hold it down. Watch your step, boy, you on holy ground. They in the building, we in the spot. We can go to war, let's see who make it out. Tell them niggas good night, here come the bitch. Look, told them niggas get right or get left. You PK bad man, I pin to your flip.
This a Batman tune. I promise you. This shit lit, cuz. This shit lit. Alright? Run that joint.
Niggas looking for the light. Me and my niggas prepared for the dog. Yeah. So we gon' get it on for the last days, nigga. You already know what it is. 140 for the rebel.
They in the building, we in the spot. We can go to war and see who make it out. Earn your stripes, dog, you with us or not. We can get it on when it's on, it don't never stop. First you get that power, gotta hold it down. Watch your step, boy, you on holy ground. They in the building, we in the spot. We can go to war, let's see who make it out. It's a problem, tell them pop off. I die for I let my colors fly, boy. Before a nigga take me, they a drop dead. AR, clean them up like a mop pig. Stay cool, he bad, he really so tough. They like, damn, look what he did to Billy go rough. Little bitch think she Kiki Palmer, silly hoe. She know I'm that bull, but I ain't from Philly though. From the city where they say about that ribbon like petty poops. Know them niggas plotting, gotta deal with me. Can't catch me slipping, got to steal with me. Just left Alabama, bought a chopper from some hillbilly move. He made my life feel the blade. Leave them all bruised, come through like a plague. Rebel off the leash like a dog out the cage. Call me Johnny Blaze, I'm one West May. Watch your step get stretched like a limousine. So my brother bring that blade back wet, that's my enemy. Little nigga, this that cult, need to talk. Niggas know I got blood in my cup, I just sip it like it's grenadine. They in the building, we in the spot. We can go to war, let's see who make it out. On your stripes, dog, you with us or not. We can get it on when it's on, it'll never stop. First you get that power, gotta hold it down. Watch your step, boy, you on holy ground. They in the building, we in the spot. We can go to war, let's see who make it out. Tell them niggas good night, here come the bitch. Look, told them niggas get right or get left. UPK, bad man, I pin to your flesh. Hellboy, rip the soul out of dead man. Shit, got the rate, the power, I been the showstopper. Yeah, they might hate, but I know they gon' watch. Zone on lock, and you know the flow prop. Iced out, got the drip out of David Jones lock. Know I got the plan, they say that you the man. No shit, Sherlock, I'm the one you heard about. Burn down the building, let them all watch. Throw that one west up, then I swerve out. Sick with this shit, I do not need a detox. He don't watch a step, blow him out them Reeboks. We taking over, I'm sending the word out. Can't see me, little nigga, I put you in a bird box. Look, it's one West practical, gladiator, maximal. Creep on them slow, but that Glock 5 rapid. All I want is more power, more straps to blow. Ain't got excuse for no car, he gon' have to go. They in the building, we in the spot. We can go to war, let's see who make it out. On your stripes, dog, you with us or not. We can get it on when it's on, it'll never stop. First you get that power, gotta hold it down. Watch your step, boy, you on holy ground. They in the building, we in the spot. We can go to war, let's see who make it out.
All right, clap it up, clap it up, clap it up. Oh, need a video put in. Shalom, Lord in Christ. On 25th Street. And the commanding general, Yohana. That first, we're not affiliated with any other Israelite group.
That's right.
Okay, we teach that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are the true Hebrew Israelites of the Bible, God's chosen people. Salakia for the late start. We had a little technical hitch in the class in the school. So Yehovah Shim Yoshai Braktam to all the brothers, Yehovah Shemai Ladan Bahashim Yoshai to all the sisters. Okay, we'll go through the announcements, what we've got going on in the school from Monday, from Friday to Friday, and then we'll go straight into tonight's class. Okay, so if you fit the category of the bloodline and lineage of Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians, you're welcome at 394 Lodge Road for all classes. We have 3 live classes a week. But we have 5 live classes online, 3 live taught from the school at 394 Lodge Road, Hockley, Birmingham. Okay, so Monday night we got a live Monday night law class, which is tonight. Okay, that's run live from the school. Tuesday night we got a brotherhood class that's not live from the school. Wednesday we've got the history class, which is live from the school. Thursday night scripture breakdown class, which is live from the school. Friday night we've got the Lashwan Kodash class, which is not live from the school. All classes are run live 7 till 9. You can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. Okay, after the Lashawan Kodash class, 7 to 9 on a Friday night, we've got a podcast radio show live on the ends with Captain Karathi and Officer Dungabar on the ends. Okay, and that's run from 9 to 11 approximately. Come in, get involved. We have plenty of debates in the podcast. Okay, and Saturday morning, we have a Saturday morning Sabbath service live from the school again. The doors are open for so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, our people, God's chosen people, according to the Holy Bible, King James Version 1611. Okay, that's what we've got going on in the school.
Saturday, Leicester, the clock tower.
After the Saturday morning Sabbath service live in the school, we're heading down to Leicester Central City Centre at the clock tower, where you can find the ISUPK and the Commanding General Yahana keeping street camp. So after the Sabbath service, 10 to 11, we hit the concrete for street camp. One fortnightly in between Leicester and Birmingham, central Birmingham, central Leicester. This Saturday we're in Leicester City Centre, set up by the clock tower. Okay, and all is welcome. Come down, ask your questions, listen to the teachings. You've got real men of the Most High God teaching the truth out of the Bible. Okay, so without further ado, let's go straight into tonight's class. If you've got any questions in class, hold your hand up. We'll get straight to you. Any questions online, punish your questions into the StreamYard. We'll get straight to you. We'll get at you, dog. Right, tonight's class, disobeying the Most High divides us. Can anybody in class elaborate on that for me? What do you think that means? Disobeying the Most High divides us. Moses.
Disobeying is like not keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, so you're disobeying him. And then the punishment that comes after, that is the destruction, which we are in the punishment at the moment.
Yeah, but how does disobeying the Most High God divide us as a people? Think of times of a four times. We've had periods of time when we wasn't bottom of the pile. We wasn't the nation that was holding up all the other nations. When we used to rule this kingdom, for example, in the times of King David and King Solomon, how did we? What happened to us for disobeying the Most High God?
We fall from God's favor and God's grace, so we fall ourselves into slavery.
Do you want to check that door's locked?
Yeah, the key.
Okay, so okay. Well, not exactly. That's not the answer what I was looking for according to the Bible. Let's deep into it. Let's dig into it. Disobeying the Most High God. Well, it's self-explanatory. It's in the title. Anytime we've disobeyed God, it's divided us, and you can see that in the world today. The division. When you look at, for example, DHC and Rowlett's Hill in Leicester. I'm talking about Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian gangs. Do you know how to put the? It's okay. He's coming back. If you look at Burger Bar and Johnson crew, if you look at the Gooch crew and Donington crew of Manchester, you can see a clear divide amongst our people. Nietas and Latin Kings in New York, Bloods and Crips in LA, and all across all the states of America, especially East Coast and West Coast, where you'll find many gangs of Bloods and Crips. Yeah, but specifically speaking, in Leicester, Dog Art Crew, Rowlett's Hill, Dog Art Crew, Braunston. In Birmingham, you've got the Johnson and Burger Bar. Manchester, you've got Gooch and Pepperhill or Doddington. And these are clear divides amongst our people, which shows you we can't get along with our one another. Why can't we get along with our one another? Because we are cursed. We're cursed, and we keep an evil eye on each other. We've got an evil eye for our one another. Go ahead, Mozart. You got. Let me get to it. But let's continue. So the topic tonight, disobeying the Most High God divides us. And you can see that in the world today, in this kingdom today, the divide amongst our people. And it's not just in the modern era. We've been divided for millenniums. And there's some really good examples in the scriptures of when we wasn't being obedient to God, or we wasn't keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. He divided us. He put curses on us. He divided us. It's nothing new that we've just come into these curses in the modern era. We've been under curses for the last 2,000 years, since we was kicked out of Israel. So since we was overwhelmed, since the so-called Edomite, the so-called white man, the Edomites, invaded our land, the Romans, and we ran into Africa, where there was other melanated people to hide amongst, to confuse these Europeans. Do you know how to add a video, Mozart? Or do you want the captain to do it?
Let me try it. See.
Let me type up.
Okay. Okay.
Let me shoot first. You realize it.
Okay, just type in the tragic feud between the Burger Bar and Johnson crew. The tragic feud between Burger Bar and Johnson crew. And someone get me 1 Kings 11:1. Okay, so if you're familiar with the book of Samuel, 1st and 2nd Samuels, 1st and 2nd Kings, 1st and 2nd Chronicles, this was an era of King David and King Solomon, who were the kings of Israel. And under this regime of Israel, we were united. We were keeping the laws. Okay, individually there was lawbreakers, but collectively we was doing things that pleased the Most High God. And it shows when you read these 3 books, because these 3 books were all written in the same era. Okay, but by 3, they're talking about the same era, but 3 different versions of the same era. Similar to Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, which was the same era of Christ 2,000 years ago, but their own version of events. For example, me and Mozart might go to the same restaurant, have the same meal, and I go home about the story about the evening, the meal we had, and Mozart might tell his rib, and the next day the 2 ribs get together, and the name of the street is the same, doesn't change. The name of the restaurant doesn't change. The meals that we ordered didn't change, but the times might vary. The names of the waiter might vary if we both didn't record the names of the waiter. Just minor things like that. But the stories are the same story from the same era, the same time. And that's what you find in the Bible with the book of 1st and 2nd Chronicles, 1st and 2nd Kings, and 1st and 2nd Samuels, just like you do with Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. So did you get me 1 Kings 11:1? We're going to have a look. This is from the era of King David and King Solomon. King Solomon was King David's son. And this is just to testify to the fact that it's not just in the modern era we've been split. Okay? In this era, this is the beginning of our downfall, so to speak. It's in a time of King Solomon, when King Solomon had 700 wives, 300 concubines, and he was leaving the Most High God. He was leaving the Most High God and following his wives and their idols, because a lot of his wives were heathen. Do we follow this? A lot of them were Africans. A lot of them were Moabites. And they were, all his wives and concubines were not Israelites. And according to Samuel's Chronicles and 1st and 2nd Kings, King Solomon would follow his wives and honor their gods, which were idols. So let's have a look at this. 1 Kings 11:1.
Okay. The book of 1 Kings 11:1. But King Solomon loved many strange women.
He did what?
King Solomon loved many strange women.
And the operative word being strange. These are not strange Israelite women. A lot of these women were Moabites, were Hittites, were Jebusites, were foreign women, strange women from other nations, with other nationalities. Read.
Okay. Together with the daughters of Pharaoh.
Together with the daughters of Pharaoh. So King Solomon was even making marriage with Pharaoh's daughters, who were Mizraimites, Egyptians, who we call today the Egyptians. These are Africans. These are not Israelites. Read.
Of the Moabites, Ammonites, Edomites,
Ammonites, who are the Japanese, Moabites, who are the Chinese. So these are the type of women that King Solomon was laying with and making marriages with. And there's a law in the book of Leviticus that Moses gave the 12 tribes of Israel that we shouldn't be sleeping or making marriage with women outside of Israel. We shouldn't be making marriages with daughters or women that are not daughters of Zion, are not from the bloodline of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Read.
Okay. And
Hittites, another African nation, another African tribe. Read.
Of the nation concerning which the Lord said unto the children of Israel, ye shall not go into them.
He said what?
Ye shall not go into them.
He said what?
Ye shall not go into them.
God, the Most High God said we should not go into these women and make marriages with them that are not of the bloodline of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. But here we have King Solomon in 1 Kings 11:1 making marriage with Hittites, Africans, Egyptians, more Africans, Ammonites, Japanese, Moabites, Chinese. Read.
Okay. Neither shall they come in unto you.
Okay, neither shall they come into us. So we, not only is God warning us not to take a liking to these strange women, but he's also warning us not to let them tempt us like the temptress, to come and dangle their backyards in front of us and lead us astray away from Israel, away from our woman. I mean, if you've got an Israelite woman, why would you want anything else? It's just bizarre and crazy to me. You've already got the best of the best, creme de la creme.
That's right.
Why the hell would you go and look around the corner for something else? Okay, but this is where the division starts. This is the beginning of our downfall. And it started right here with King Solomon. No doubt the law was broken, and we've got the records to prove it before the era of King Solomon. But this is the beginning collectively of our downfall. Because what are we doing as a nation? If King Solomon's our leader, if he's our king and our leader, what are we doing as a nation of people?
Following him.
We're watching his ways and duplicating his ways. We're seeing him with 700 women, and 350 of them are African, Chinese, Japanese, Egyptian, European, or Edom. There was no Europe established yet. Edom was a place that you'd call Jordan on the map today, or just at the side of Jordan. Okay, because Jordan was a separate state created in the 1940s, which is an extension of the original ancient Israel. Okay, there was no Jordan in these times. Jordan was a southern state of Israel in 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 years ago. So there was no Jordan then, but there was an Edom where the so-called European man lived, or the seed of Esau. And they dwelt in the land of Edom, which was in that area right next to Jordan. Okay, so and that's just south of Israel, the modern Israel that we see on the geographical map today. And this is what we was doing. We was following King Solomon. And what do you think this was doing to the Most High God in thought?
Was grieving him.
Pissing him off.
God.
It was pissing him off. It was pissing the Most High God off. We was living in disobedience. We was not keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. We was following our leader's example. We was marrying these strange women from strange nations that we had no business dealing with and had nothing to do with us. And what verse you on?
Verse 2.
Yeah, read verse 2, Baba Kusha.
For surely they will turn away your heart after their gods. Solomon cleaved unto those in love.
Read that again for me. For surely.
For surely they will turn away your heart after their gods.
Okay, and this in the start of our downfall by not keeping these laws or marrying these strange women was the beginning of our divide. Because in King Solomon's era, what happened? Does anybody know what happened to our nation in King Solomon's era? We split. We split in two, straight down the middle. Well, it wasn't really, in numbers, it wasn't straight down the middle. It was 3 nations went south and 9 nations went north. Okay, according to the Bible, well, we'll read 10 nations. Okay, but we know that 2 of them nations, there's only 9 nations in the northern kingdom, but 2 of them nations were split from the tribe of Joseph, and that was Ephraim and Manasseh. Okay, so Joseph is still counted in them 10, even though it was his grandchildren that picked up the reins. Okay, so read on, Baba Kashar.
Solomon clave unto those in love.
Solomon cleaved unto those he loved, these strange women, these Japanese, these Chinese women, these African women that he had no business with dealing with. Someone at the door. He was just looking in. Read on.
Verse 3. And he had 700 wives.
How many?
700 wives.
How many?
700 wives.
I believe you me, they were not all Israelites, like what we just read about. They were not all Israelites. Read on.
700 wives and 300 concubines.
300 concubines. Neither were his wives or concubines all Israelites. We're talking about mass disobedience here. We're talking about many, multiple women that he wifed off, and they were not Israelite women. And this is a law. He's breaking the law here. He was just pissing the Most High God off. So if he's breaking the law and we're watching him, what do we think? What are we thinking to ourselves? Laid up in the court, in the background, we're watching our leader, King Solomon, making marriage with all these strange foreign women that are not Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians. And we're thinking we can do the same. Oh, if King Solomon does it, we can do it. Why can't we do it if King Solomon does it? But this is the beginning of our downfall. This is where the divide comes from. Okay, later it turns into taxes. We're arguing and falling out over money like we always have done. And that shows you the spirit, that demonic spirit that's in our people today has always been in us. It's always been in us as soon as we stopped keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments. And this is just an example following following the lead of King Solomon. Okay, and we're talking about the wisest man in the Bible. We're talking about the wisest man in our history, and he was still messing up time and time again. Read on.
And his wife turned away his heart.
His wife turned away his heart. Read.
Verse 4. For it came to pass when Solomon was old that his wives turned away his heart after other gods.
And this is the idols. This is idolatry. And this is what we're in today in that Christian church, in that Islamic mosque. We've said we're following idols. And we wonder why we can't get it together, why we can't get our communities together. The Most High God's not going to let us until we drop them idols, till we drop these strange women. You Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, you've got to leave them white women alone. Leave them in the club. You've got to leave them Indian women that you think are prettier than our women because they've got long, straight, stringy hair. It's bizarre. It's ridiculous. The Israelite women, the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian women that walk this earth today are the most beautiful women God ever put on this green earth. And we want to disrespect our own women for these strange women that have got nothing to do with us and are going to lead us into the mosque, lead us into the church, lead us into all kinds of denominations that have got absolutely nothing to do with our traditions and culture. And all we're doing is pissing the Most High God off. Read on.
And his heart was not perfect with the Lord his God.
And his heart was not perfect with the Lord his God. If we keep disobeying the Most High God, how the hell do we expect to get it together in our communities? How the hell do we expect to get these curses lifted from us? How the hell do we expect to bring Berger and Johnson together again? How the hell do we expect to bring DHC and Braunston together again? How the hell do we expect to bring you Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians together again? So Mexico do not hate Venezuela, and Brazil do not hate Colombia, and Cuba doesn't hate Puerto Rico, and we keep this divide strictly to sports. But in the spiritual world, in our communities, we love our one another and come together and fix our problems. We stop letting our sisters be in whores. We stop selling drugs to our one another, shooting, stabbing our one another, and we fix our communities. And the only way we do that and cut this divide is by stop disobeying the Most High God. Start keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments. Read on.
As was the heart of David his father. Verse 5. For Solomon went after Asherah, the goddess of the Zidonians.
Okay, Ashtoreth. So these Africans, these Zidonians had a goddess, a female god, called Ashtoreth. What verse you
Verse 5 onward.
Okay, Ashtoreth. This was a female god, an African female god of the Zidonians, and Solomon went after her. Okay, so he's already got Yahweh, the Most High God, the God of Israel, the God of the Holy Bible. Okay, and like that wasn't enough for him. He went after an idol, a fake God that didn't even exist. And you think God's going to be happy and lenient about this? Just like he is today with you Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians that are in that Christian church, in that mosque, in whatever denomination you are following. That's why he keeps us divided. And until we come back to him and start keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments, we're going to stay divided. We're not going to be a solid nation again with foundations from grassroots. It's not going to happen. It's not going to occur. But guess what? We have that in the ISUPK under Commanding General Yohanna. We have them grassroots and we have the foundations right here, the home of the truth. Read on.
And after Milcom, the abomination of the Hammonites.
Okay, jump down to verse 11 for me, Baba Kashar.
Okay. Verse 11. Wherefore the Lord said unto Solomon, for as much as this is done.
So this is the Most High God speaking to Solomon. Obviously, he didn't appear in the flesh, but Solomon's having a visual of the Most High God. He's being spoken to, and the Lord, because he knew the Lord God was angry by now. He was angry and vexed with him. So the Most High God is speaking to Solomon. What does he tell Solomon? Read that.
For as much as this is done of thee, and thou hast not kept my covenant.
So Most High God's making Solomon aware you broke my covenant. You broke your oath with me, your vow. You're not keeping the covenant. Read.
And my statutes which I have commanded thee, I will surely render the kingdom from thee.
He will surely take Israel off of Solomon, the beginning of our downfall. This is where the separation starts. This is where the division becomes apparent. And then there's two states out of one. one people, and we end up two separate nations, a northern kingdom and a southern kingdom, Ephraim and Judah. And this is what happened to us. And that spirit that kept us, made us divide in these days, that spirit's still on our people today. That spirit's still on us today. That divide that God put on King Solomon's era, the people that lived, the Israelites that lived in King Solomon's era, that divide is still on our people today. And you can clearly see it. And it's not just in the street gangs. You can see it in these religions. 25% of our people in the mosque, 70% of our people in the church, 5% of our people in Rastafarianism. It's madness. It's madness, and it don't make no sense. And do you know why it don't make no sense? Because it's not in our records.
That's right.
Simple. Read on. Finish off verse 11 for me then.
And
someone
will
get 2 Kings 17 and 5.
And will give it to thy servant.
Huh?
And will give it to thy servant.
Say that again.
And will give it to thy servant.
Okay, read verse 11 from the top.
Verse 11. Wherefore the Lord said unto Solomon, for as much as this is done of thee, and thou art not kept my covenant and my statutes, will I have which I have commanded thee, I will surely.
Moses, slow down, start again for me from the top.
1 Kings 11 verse 11. Wherefore as the Lord said unto Solomon, for as much as this is done of thee, and thou art not kept my covenant and my statutes, which I have commanded thee, I will surely rend the kingdom from thee, and I will give it to thy servant. Okay, so he will surely rend the kingdom from Solomon, take the kingdom off of Solomon, and that's exactly what he did. That's exactly what he did. And the leaders that came after King Solomon could not keep us together. And this was the beginning of our downfall. This is where the divide comes from. That's right.
Have you got the video?
No.
Hold on. No. Yeah, that's not it. Yeah, hold on, slow down. That's it. But just hold on. I don't want to get go back. We'll come back to the video. Yeah, we'll come back to the video. Okay, so get me 2 Kings 17 and 5. Barbara Shah. 2 Kings. So we're starting to see the pattern here of how we messed up. And it started in the era of King Solomon, and that divide where two states were created, a northern state and a southern state. And what's interesting is these Khazars, these Ashkenazi Jews that formed a state in Israel in 1948. Okay, they left Europe and migrated in 1946, 47 actually, was told that they could create a state of Israel when there was no European people living there. And these are European converts from the 6th century that Hitler tried to, let's not say wipe out, because he didn't try to wipe them out, but he did lock them up. He put them in concentration camps. And he went to war with them. Now, these same people have read these records. They're familiar with our records, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians history. And they've tried to mimic this, because if you've been following the war, the Gaza war and the Iranian-Israel war, the modern day war that's been happening in the last few weeks past, you'll see that there's been some Jewish man making documentaries on YouTube and online, and you'll see certain reports on backstreet news stations, televised, of Jewish people that don't agree with the modern Israeli government, who are called the Zionists. Okay, not all of them, but a portion of them. And then you've got another group of Jewish people, European Jews, fake Jews, that call themselves Israelis. And you can see a divide amongst them, because if you watch some of these documentaries, the ones that are not Zionists are quite a large portion of them are trying to side and back with the Palestinians and side and back the Iranians and saying that their government is full of folly, Zionism is a fraud, they don't have anything to do with Zionism. So they've read our records and tried to live up to some of these prophecies, some of these records, and put a split amongst themselves. So we're watching the news. You see what I'm saying, Mozart? We're watching these news bulletins and these documentaries on YouTube and online, and we're thinking, oh, hold on, wait a minute. These Israeli Jewish people are divided, just like the Bible says in Samuel's, Kings, and Colossians. There's a division amongst these Ashkenazi Jews. Look, they must be the real Jews. You've got the Zionists and you've got the Israelis. Do not be fooled. Do not be fooled. The real split is amongst the real Jews of the Bible, the real bloodline of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And that is you blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, our people. These people have read our records and they're making a movie out of it. But little do they know that this is ordained by the Most High God, and their movie is going to turn into their biggest nightmare called World War III. And that is going to be the end of them, and that is going to be the end of that. 2 Kings 17:5. Read that for me, Barbara.
The book of 2 Kings 17, verse 5. Then the king of Assyria came up through all the land and went up to Samaria and besieged it 3 years.
Okay, so the king of Syria. Who's the king of Assyria? This is in the same era. So King Solomon's dead. We've got 2 leaders now. We've got a leader of the southern kingdom, Judah. We've got a leader of the northern kingdom, Ephraim. We've got 2 separate leaders when under King David and King Solomon, and a 4 times before our split, our divide. There was only one kingdom of Israel. There was only one nation, one people. And we're still one people, but now we're 2 separate nations. Salakia. So, who is the king of Assyria? La. Let's read on.
Verse 6. In the 9th year.
Read verse 5 again, Bob.
Verse 5. Then the king of Assyria came up throughout all the land and went up to Samaria and besieged it 3 years. Verse 6.
Salakia, read verse 5 one more time.
Verse 5. Then the king of Assyria came up throughout all the land and went up to Samaria.
So we've got the king of Assyria, and who and where's Samaria? The king of Assyria went up to Samaria. That was the question, not the king's name. The question I wanted to ask is, does anybody in class know where Samaria is? What is Samaria? Is it a landmass? Is it a city? Where is it and what is it? Because the king here besieged it 3 years. Khan, where? Samaria was in the northern kingdom of Ephraim. Okay, read on.
Okay. Samaria and besieged it 3 years.
Read
verse 6. In the 9th year of Hoshea, the king of Assyria took Samaria and carried Israel away into Assyria, and placed them in Halah.
Okay, so there you've got the king's name, Hoshea. Read on.
In Halah and in Abar, by the river of Gozan.
Okay, so this is by the river of Gozan and in the cities of
Abar.
The Medes, okay, so the Medes and the Assyrians, and this is who overran us and overtook us, the northern kingdom, and carried them back into captivity. What verse are we on?
Verse 6.
Okay, and this all happened, why? Because we were disobedient, because we broke the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High God. What we're trying to teach you today, the ISUPK, under the command of General Johanna, these laws, statutes, and commandments, that is how important these judgments and commandments are. They're nothing to play with, Israel. They're nothing to play with, as you can see, because this is why we're bottom of the pile. And this is why the Most High God, time and time again, has punished us in our records because of this very thing. We cannot keep it together. We cannot keep His law, statutes, and commandments. And that's all we have to do to get it together. If we keep our vow, keep these laws, statutes, and commandments, we would run this kingdom again, just like that. Just like that. Read on.
Verse 7. For so it was that the children of Israel had sinned against the Lord their God, which had brought them out of the land of Egypt.
So we'd sinned and sinned and sinned. We kept sinning against God. We were just following, just like the way we followed the lead of King Solomon. Okay, we kept sinning against God. We kept breaking His laws, statutes, and commandments. He separated and put us into two portions, or two nations, a southern kingdom and a northern kingdom. And now He's let the northern kingdom, who were wicked as hell, be overrun by King Hoshea of Assyria. Okay, and this was our fate back then, and this is our fate today. Because we're in captivity. Don't make no qualms about it. Don't be under any disillusion. Don't be disillusioned. Don't think you know what's going on in today's era because you're stuck up in that Christian church. You're delusional. If you're in that Christian church, you are in captivity. If you're in that mosque, you're in mental bondage. You're in the same slavery that we was in Assyria. It's no different. One was physical, one was mental. But it's all slavery. And it's all to the most talented people that walk this green earth. The most talented people God ever put on this green earth. And if you can fathom that, if you can understand and comprehend that, what we're teaching, what we're talking about, you'll start to understand how important these laws are.
That's right.
And what's happened to us and why we're in the state that we're in today. Okay.
That's right.
It's no coincidence that our people, blacks, Hispanics, and native Indians, are in all the impoverished areas around the world. Read on, Baba Kusha.
Out land of Egypt, from under the hands of Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and had feared other gods.
And feared other gods. Again, idolatry. Verse 8, Baba Kusha.
Verse 8. And walked in the statutes of the heathens, whom the Lord cast out from before the children of Israel.
Okay, so the Lord God was mad at us and allowed the Assyrians to overrun us and overwhelm us. They put us into captivity, and the rest is history. Our disobedience got us enslaved, period. And our disobedience today has got us in mental slavery. Similar things. And we're using the same tactics we used back then to deceive our God. Idolatry, breaking the law, making marriages with all these strange women that we're not supposed to make marriages with. Read on.
Okay. Verse 8. And walk in the statutes of the heathens, whom the Lord cast out from before the children of Israel, and of the kings of Israel, which they had made.
And what is a statute? It's a governmental ruling. Okay, so Assyria's made a rule from their government, and we're walking in their statutes. Read that again, Baba Kusha.
Verse 8. and walk in the statutes of the heathens,
So not just the Assyrians, the heathens, period. The heathen, period. Read on.
whom the Lord cast out from before the children of Israel, and of the kings of Israel, which they had made.
There you go. And that's talking about the African nations, the Hittites, the Jebusites, the Hittites, the Perizzites, the Jebusites, there's the Canaanites, all the African nations that the Most High God cast out of Israel. Okay, even if you look at our history when we went into Israel with Joshua, we still didn't do what the Most High God said. And this is before the era of King Solomon. The Most High God told us to utterly destroy these Africans, and did we? At some stage, we felt sorry for these Africans and spared them and gave them a little portion of land over there. And that was not what we was ordered to do. We was ordered to wipe them out utterly. And is there any reason why we can't grasp this today? Is there any reason why we don't understand why we're in the state of affairs we're in today, when we are so disobedient to the Most High God? What the hell do we expect? What did we expect back then? And what do we expect today now? This is what we've got to start to understand. This is what we've got to start to fathom. And this is what we've got to start to think about. And then perhaps we can start getting our aunties, our uncles, our grandparents, our parents, even our brothers and sisters out of that church, out of that mosque. Cut your dreadlocks and grow your afro and braid your hair and do the things that please the Most High God. Get the hell out of these denominations, and he will unite us. He will unite us. And how do we know that he'll unite us if we come back to him? Because it's in our records. It's in our records. Is there any more on that, Mozart?
Okay. Verse 8. And the children of Israel did secretly those things.
No, slow down. Speak up into the speaker.
Okay. Verse 8. Verse 8. And the children of Israel did secretly those things that were not right against the Lord.
So look, this is verse 9, not verse 8. Read it again, Bob Kushel.
Verse 9. And the children of Israel did secretly those things that were not right against the Lord their God, and they built them high places in all their cities, and from the towers of the watchman to the fenced city.
So why did they build these high places in the cities? Again, for idolatry, for idol worship. It's just madness, one madness after another. But it's called disobedience, according to the Bible. We was disobedient as hell. And this was the beginning of our downfall from the time of King Solomon. And we continued with this pattern of disobedience right up into the Assyrian captivity. And then after that, it was the Macedonian captivity. And it was one slavery after another. Why? Because we couldn't hear, we couldn't hearken, we couldn't listen. We couldn't do as we damn well told and keep our oaths, keep these laws, statutes, and commandments. And right up to the Roman captivity, when the Romans invaded 2,000 years ago, and then 500 years ago, the transatlantic slave trade. These captivities were thick and fast. They came at us again and again and again. And this is what divides us, our disobedience. It was endless. It was relentless. Our captivity's been relentless because we've always been living under punishment since King Solomon era. We've always been living under judgment and punishment because we can't get it together. You see this, Mozart? Read on, Baba Krishna.
Verse 10. And they set them up images and groves in every high place.
There you go. So they built these high places in cities and put graven images. That's law. That's law. That's the law number 2 in the commandments. Don't keep no graven images. What are we doing here? Read that again, Baba Kashar.
Verse 10. And they set them up images and groves in every high place.
Okay. And they set them up images and groves. And I'm not 100 on this, but I believe a grove is a carving. Is some kind of when you carve something, maybe into a stone. I believe. Read that again, Baba Kashar.
Grove be like a garden where you can go sit down and
Read that again.
Verse 10. And they set them up images and groves in every high place and under every green tree.
Okay, so what you say a grove is?
A grove is like a garden. Oh, yeah.
I've got you. Okay, so if you heard Officer Mosai, he said a grove is a garden, but they set them up images. What's an image?
Carving.
Something we've been told not to do. Graven images. That's the second law in the 10 Commandments. Don't keep no other gods. Don't keep no graven images. Period. And here we are illustrating and demonstrating our blatant disobedience. No care for the oath we've taken, the vow we've taken with the Most High God, the one true God, the God of the Bible. And here we are dishonoring the very thing that can make or break us.
That's right.
Just bizarre. It's beyond me. Read on. Read verse 11 for me, Baba Kushal.
Okay. Verse 11. And there they burned incense in all the high places, and did as the Edens, whom the Lord carried away before them, and wrought wicked things.
So you get the message. We burn incense, and this is not frankincense and myrrh. This is a stench from heathens, not our incense, not the smells that the Most High God gave us and loves and adores. You know, these are all kinds of, I don't know what, lavender, rosemary, probably curry powder and cumin. I don't know, just stenches that do not please the Most High God. So give me Ezra's 1 and 1. Drop that. Give me Ezra's 1 and 1. The book of Ezra, chapter 1, verse 1. Let's see what Cyrus has got to say for himself, because here's another example of the split amongst our people. And the Most High God has become so tired of us, he put a little trust in a heathen leader, Cyrus, the king of the Persians, to build a city in Jerusalem. Well, let's read about it.
The book of Ezra 1, verse 1. And Josiah held the feast of Passover in Jerusalem unto his Lord.
Salakia, start that again.
Verse 1. And Josiah.
No. Ezra 1 and 1.
Oh, not Ezra.
Ezra.
Ezra 1.
E-Z-R-A. Ezra.
The book of Ezra 1, verse 1. Now in the first year of Cyrus, king of Persia.
Cyrus was the king of Persia. Another captivity. Another time when we was not keeping the law. This is in a similar era, just after King Solomon. Okay? And we was not keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. And if it wasn't the Assyrians, it was the Persians. If it wasn't the Persians, it was the Romans. If it wasn't the Romans, it was the Macedonians. If it wasn't the Macedonians, it was the British, Spanish, French, and the Portuguese. My God, did we not get tired or learn any lessons? Did we not get tired of these captivities? Read that first, Ezra.
Verse 1. Now in the first year of Cyrus, king of Persia, the word of the Lord by the mouth of Jeremiah might be fulfilled. The Lord stirred up the spirit of Cyrus, king of Persia.
So the Most High God has put a spirit on Cyrus to stir him up, to get him rattled and spaz him out. Okay, he's about to give Cyrus authority. Read.
That he made a proclamation.
That he did what?
Made a proclamation.
That he did what?
Made a proclamation.
That he made a proclamation with what?
Throughout all his kingdom.
Throughout all his kingdom. And where is his kingdom? What is his kingdom?
Persia.
Persia. Not just Persia. What is Cyrus's kingdom?
Jerusalem.
Well, the kingdom, the Persians were taking over all that area,
Yeah.
Northeast Africa, the Middle East. It was turning into a large kingdom. Read.
And put it also in writing. Thus saith Cyrus, king of Persia, the Lord God of heaven hath given me all the kingdoms of the earth.
All the what?
All the kingdoms of the earth.
This kingdom's growing and it's getting bigger and bigger. All the kingdoms of the earth, anything that was worth anything, the Persians were taking. The Persians were taking. They was taking it all. And it started right here in this part of the land. What you call the Middle East today, or Northeast Africa, whatever you call it, on the geographical map. Read.
And he had charged me to build him a house at Jerusalem, which is in Judah.
Okay, so Cyrus was given the authority to rule the earth and build a house in Jerusalem. Jump to verse 5, Baba Kishar.
Verse 5. Then rose up the chief of the father of Judah and Benjamin and the priests and the Levites.
Okay, so what are we talking about here? What are we talking about here? Then rose up the chief of the fathers of Judah and Benjamin and the priests and the Levites. The fathers means the elders. So we're talking about the elders of these tribes, Benjamin, Judah, and Levi. Where are these tribes from?
Israel.
No. Israel was Ephraim, the northern kingdom. So where are these three tribes from specifically?
They're from the children of Israel.
They're from the land of Judah, the southern kingdom. Okay. All right, read on.
And the priests and the Levites with all those whose spirit God had raised to go up and to build the house of the Lord, which is in Jerusalem.
Okay, so here we've got the southern kingdom joining with Cyrus to build up Jerusalem, to build up a house in Jerusalem. Okay, do we know why?
Because God wanted his house to rebuild. So
let's read on. I'll tell you why. Because God's plan was always to fix us, to put us back together, to divide us, to have us conquered, and then to fix us. And that fixing you can see today in the ISUPK under Commanding General Yohanna. This is the house that is fixed. The only house in Israel that is fixed and is true and is real right now. Everything else is an abomination outside of the ISUPK. Everything else is a lie. Everything else is Christianity, Islam, Rastafarianism. Everything else is a fake Israelite group. Okay, this is the home of the truth. This is where you're going to get the real breakdowns. This is what the Bible and the Most High God's talking about here. This is what Ezra has recorded. Read that again, Baba Kishar, verse 5.
Ezra 1 verse 5. Then rose up the chief of the fathers of Judah, Benjamin, and the priests and the Levites of all them who the Spirit of God had raised to go up to build the house of the Lord which is in Jerusalem.
Verse 6.
Verse 6. And all they that were about them strengthened their hands with vessels of silver, with gold, with good goods and with beast, with
Okay,
precious
drop that.
things.
Drop that. Drop that. Drop that. Get me Revelation 11:3. I want to have a look at Revelation 11:3 and another precept. Then we're going to play the Then we're going to play the video. I want to have a look at this video. Revelation 11:3. When you ready?
The book of Revelation 11 verse 3. And I will give power unto my two witnesses.
I will do what?
I'll give power unto my two witnesses.
Now hold it right there. What do you think the Most High God's doing here? What did I just tell you?
He's raising up his witness.
He divided us. Why did the Most High God divide us? Because we were disobedient.
Yes.
So he split us. He's divided us because we was disobedient. Just like we divided today in gangs, in religions, in everyday life and our communities, we're split.
Yeah.
Just like we was in the northern and southern kingdom. So he's the Most High God's split us, he's divided us, and here in Revelation 11:3, he's showing you that his two witnesses are the two splits, the two divides, and that is us, that is Israel, and he's going to fix us. He's going to fix us and put us back together again. That was always his plan. But he's not going to fix us while you lot are idling in gangs. He's not going to fix us while you lot are disobedient in the Christian church, in the Islamic mosque. He's not going to fix us while you're being disloyal and disobeying his laws, statutes, and commandments. Read that again, Baba Kushal.
Okay. Verse 3, and I'll give power unto my two witnesses.
His two witnesses, Ephraim and Judah. Read.
Okay. And they shall prophesy 1,203 score days.
How much is 1,203 score days? That's a millennium, and that's 160 days. 260 days. How? Clothed in sackcloth. Finish off that. Mozart, read.
Clothed in sackcloth.
Yeah, read that from the top, Baba Kushal.
Come on, I can't say that. And I will give power unto my two witnesses, and they shall prophesy 1,203 score days, clothed in sackcloth.
Damn right, clothed in sackcloth. And when was we clothed in sackcloth? When we was in a state of mourning, depression, fasting, prayer. When we was trying to get right, when we'd been disobedient and sinned. Yeah. That was a time we'd be in our roughest clothes, our roughest garments, which was called sackcloth. Do you understand that? Every time your phone goes off, does it take what you're reading off the screen? Do you want a Bible, Mozart?
No, that's fine. You just brush it out.
Can't. Okay. So the northern kingdom and Judah here in Revelation 11:3, the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom, Ephraim and Judah will be one again. We're going to see this. Read verse 6.
Verse 6. Those have power.
Salakia, finish off verse 5.
Verse 5. And if any man will hurt them, fire proceeded.
Salakia. You've read verse 3, right?
Yeah.
Read verse 4, Bob.
These are the two olive trees.
These are what?
The two olive trees.
These are the what?
Two olive trees.
This is Ephraim and Judah. The two olive trees, or the two candlesticks. Read.
And the two candlesticks.
The two what?
And the two candlesticks standing before gods of the. the God of
Let me
the
read
earth.
it. Verse 4. These are the two olive trees and the two candlesticks standing before the God of the earth. The God of the earth is the power. The very man that inspired this book, inspired our prophets and teachers to record our history and record our heritage and our culture and our traditions and our laws, statutes and commandments and all the wars and all our captivities and blacks, Hispanics and Native Indians history. This is a black history book, and we should bear that in mind when we're studying it. And you're only going to hear this in the ISUPK, the home of the truth. You're not going to hear this anywhere else. You're certainly not going to hear it up in the Christian church. Verse 4 again, Baba Kusha.
Verse 4. These are the two olive trees and the two candlesticks standing before the God of the earth.
Verse 5.
Verse 5. And if any man will hurt them, fire proceeded out of their mouth.
Okay, if any man hurts us. So here's an indication he's going to bring us back together. Ephraim and Judah, Bloods and the Crips, Burgabar and Johnson. And he's going to weld us back together, and nobody will be able to fast with us again. And all we've got to do to make this happen is keep the law, statutes, and commandments, live in obedience. Drop that, give me Zephaniah 2 and 1. Let's have a look. Run the video for me, Baba Kusha. Let's have a look at, we've had a look in the Bible at the ancient divide amongst our people. Let's have a look at how that spirit still lives in us today in the modern division. No, beneath it. Yeah, that one. Okay, so this is how we're divided today. Go straight into the video. This is how we have divided ourselves between gangs and other street cultures today. Pause it a minute. Just pause it 1 sec. Just make sure you're sharing. Have a look if you're sharing that, Mozart, so that they can hear it. Okay, this is not it. Come out of this. Type in.
Still running your salon or spa with outdated methods? Make the most of your time with a switch to
Type
Bagara.
Have you
in.
ever heard about the intense rivalry between the Burger Bar
Type
Boys
in.
and the Johnson crew?
Oh. Type in the tragic feud. I asked you to type this in before. Type in the tragic feud. Tragic feud. Between the Burger Bar Boys and Johnson crew. Between. Surprised it ain't come straight up. Boys, S. Boys and Burger Bar crew. And and Johnson.
And
Johnson.
J
H.
S Johnson
Yeah.
crew.
Yeah, crew. Yeah. You go search for it. There you are. Go play that. Okay, let's have a look at this. So pause that. So in the 70s and 80s, our people were amalgamated. For those of you that don't know what amalgamation means, it means together, solid community, one, yeah, two becoming one. So if we was two in the ancient days of Ephraim and Judah, this here in Birmingham, there was no such thing as Johnson and Berger in the 70s and early 80s. There was one community, and we started almost like a vigilante thing in the Jamaican areas, in the Benjamite areas in Birmingham, to protect our communities. And we're going to hear about it right now. This is directly around the time of the race riots in the UK. Play that. Protect us. Okay, so here we've got a clear divide. Okay, here the divide hasn't occurred yet, but we've come together in the communities, in the ghettos, in the impoverished areas in Birmingham, where the tribe of Benjamin reside. Yeah, to protect our communities against outsiders. This is when we was coming back together. We was one. Now we was not keeping the law, statutes, and commandments in the early 80s. We didn't even know about the ISUPK under Commanding General Johanna in these days. So the Most High God was going to keep us divided. And this is what happened to us. Play that. Okay, so this is a curse. Remember that. And innocent civilians were even caught up in this, in the crossfire. I don't know if you remember, and it might say it on the documentary. It's only 9 minutes long, but I'm not sure if it mentions it on here. But two young girls in the 21st century, I think it's about 22 years ago, was shot around here locally, outside one of the shebeens, one of the blues, and they were innocent. So even because of our disobedience, even innocent blood is spilled. And we've got to remember this, the disastrous effects and outcomes that our disobedience to God, to the Most High God, has on our communities. And being disobedient is to the Most High is what divides us. But when we're divided, we'll do anything, especially in the gang culture, to get at each other, to evil eye each other, and to take set on each other. And in the madness of while all this is going on and happening, innocent bystanders are getting affected. And two girls were murdered. Press play for me. Let's watch the end of this. So, like, can you tell Mozart how to do it? Video is not playing on the screen. There's no noise. I told you not shared it. All right, explain it to Officer Mozart. Hold on. Look at the bottom, and you see where it says present. Okay. Mute the laptop. In the meantime, mute it. Mute the laptop. Have you muted it?
And Letitia Shakespeare in 2003. The two were innocent bystanders, tragically shot dead during a gang retaliation attack. Only started as protectors of their community.
No, yeah. So it's no fault of Officer Mozart or my own. He doesn't really know how to operate the laptop, and all we can say is
community,
Talakia
only to become locked in.
You're going to hear it. This is on topic with why we have the division and the divide. So in the ancient era, the divide was clear to see in Israel under the reign of King Solomon, and now that spirit that was in our people that divided us, that made us disobedient, and the Most High God divided us, that spirit is still continuing today in our people, and you can see it in our gang culture, and you can see it in our religions. So play the video for me, Baba Kishore.
Have you ever heard about the intense rivalry between the Burger Bar Boys and the Johnson crew? This story is far more than just another tale of gang violence. It is one that has shaped the history of an entire city. Imagine this: two groups that originally started as protectors of their community, only to become locked in an all-consuming battle for power, influence, and control. What started as a partnership of mutual interests soon spiraled into one of the UK's most notorious gang rivalries, one that continues to echo across Birmingham today. In this video, we delve into the complex and intense story of the Burger Bar Boys and the Johnson crew. We will explore how these groups evolved from local protectors to bitter rivals, each battling for dominance in Birmingham's underworld. In this video, we'll take you through their rise, their fractured relationship, and the horrifying violence that defined their long-standing feud. Let's go back to the beginning. The rivalry between these two gangs didn't start out as a feud. In fact, at one point, the Burger Bar Boys and the Johnson crew were united. They were originally part of a larger network of vigilante groups formed in the 1980s. During this time, communities in Birmingham were dealing with severe social tensions, particularly among young Black and Asian men. The rise of racist gangs and frequent race riots had led these young men to band together, forming gangs in defense of their neighborhoods. In the face of external threats, these young men initially took action to protect their communities. They became vigilantes, patrolling their streets and standing up to racially motivated violence. But as the years passed, their methods became more extreme, and their focus shifted. What started as protection quickly turned into a dangerous pursuit of power. The groups began using violence not only to defend their neighborhoods, but to establish dominance over others, slowly transitioning into the very threat they had once stood against. The turning point came when crack cocaine and heroin flooded the streets of Birmingham in the 1990s. The introduction of these drugs was a game changer, and it didn't take long for the gangs to recognize the potential profits to be made. The Burger Bar Boys and the Johnson crew quickly turned their focus to the narcotics trade, expanding their activities beyond petty crime and street-level dealings. The arrival of the Jamaican Yardies added another layer of complexity. These organized criminals were raking in substantial profits, using brutal force to maintain control. As a result, the Burger Bar Boys and the Johnson crew saw an opportunity and began to clash with these older, more established gangs, leading to violent confrontations and deadly street battles. As these two gangs grew in power and wealth.
Okay, so as we can see from why we've got Benjamites hating Judites, why we've got Gooch Crew hating Donington, why we've got Burger Bar hating Johnson, why we've got DHC hating Braunston. This is the reason why that spirit that was on our people in the days aforetime, in the ancient days, that same spirit is still in our people to this day. And you can see it not just in the gang culture, you can see it in the Christian church, in the Islamic mosque, where we split and divided. Records for a reason. Okay, play the rest of that video from the Barbara shot. Play the video. Sean, let it press. There's no sound. What, on the whole video?
Everything is on. No, it's not.
Was mute the mic.
Mute the mic.
in South Birmingham. Three of the gangs that are Yo, this is the Scar City Studios YouTube channel. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. This story is in South Birmingham. Three of the gangs that are prominent in the area that came
only to become locked in an all-consuming battle for power, influence, and control. What started as a partnership of mutual interests soon spiraled into one of the UK's most notorious gang rivalries, one that continues to echo across Birmingham today. In this video, we'll delve into the complex gang violence. It is one that has shaped the history of an entire city. Imagine this: two groups that originally started as protectors of their community, only to become locked in an all-consuming battle for power, influence, and control. What started as a partnership of mutual interests soon spiraled into one of the UK's most notorious gang rivalries, one that continues to echo across Birmingham today. In this video, we'll delve into the complex and intense story of the Burger Bar Boys and the Johnson Crew. We will explore how these groups evolved from local protectors to bitter rivals, each battling for dominance in Birmingham's underworld. In this video, we'll take you through their rise, their fractured relationship, and the horrifying violence that defined their long-standing feud.
Welcome to Singapore, where things are made a little unexpected.
Let's go back to the beginning. The rivalry between these two gangs didn't start out as a feud. In fact, at one point, the Burger Bar Boys and the Johnson Crew were united. They were originally part of a larger network of vigilante groups formed in the 1980s. During this time, communities in Birmingham were dealing with severe social tensions, particularly among young Black and Asian men. The rise of racist gangs and frequent race riots had led these young men to band together, forming gangs in defense of their neighborhoods. In the face of external threats, these young men initially took action to protect their communities. They became vigilantes, patrolling their streets and standing up to racially motivated violence. But as the years passed, their methods became more extreme, and their focus shifted. What started as protection quickly turned into a dangerous pursuit of power. The groups began using violence not only to defend their neighborhoods, but to establish dominance over others, slowly transitioning into the very threat they had once stood against. The turning point came when crack cocaine and heroin flooded the streets of Birmingham in the 1990s. The introduction of these drugs was a game changer, and it didn't take long for the gangs to recognize the potential profits to be made. The Burger Bar Boys and the Johnson crew quickly turned their focus to the narcotics trade, expanding their activities beyond petty crime and street-level dealings. The arrival of the Jamaican Yardies added another layer of complexity. These organized criminals were raking in substantial profits, using brutal force to maintain control. As a result, the Burger Bar Boys and the Johnson crew saw an opportunity and began to clash with these older, more established gangs, leading to violent confrontations and deadly street battles. As these two gangs grew in power and wealth, their rivalries became more pronounced. The Burger Bar Boys, who operated from areas like Handsworth and Winson Green, made a name for themselves with their audacious actions, while the Johnson crew, emerging from areas such as Lozells, Nechells, and Erdington, became a force to be reckoned with. Despite their differences, both groups shared a common adversary, the Yardies. The fierce competition for control of the drug trade fueled their rivalry. The city of Birmingham soon became a battleground, marked by increasingly violent clashes between the two gangs. The streets became a playground for armed youngsters, many of whom had no training in firearms but were eager to assert their newfound power. The violence between the Burger Bar Boys and the Johnson crew escalated rapidly, with gunfights becoming an everyday occurrence. As firearms became more accessible, both gangs ramped up their brutality, using terror and intimidation as tools to maintain control over their respective territories. This period in Birmingham's history was marked by chaos and bloodshed, with civilians caught in the crossfire. In the late 1990s and early 2000s, the once seemingly benign street-level battles between these gangs became more organized and sophisticated. The level of violence had moved beyond street shootings to organized assassinations, as the rivalry took on a more sinister tone. What started as a clash of egos and street power turned into a war for dominance, with each side willing to use any means necessary to crush the other. The story of the Burger Bar Boys and the Johnson crew is not just one of violence. It's also a tragic tale of innocent lives caught in the crossfire. One of the most devastating events in this feud was the killing of two teenage girls, Charlene Ellis and Letitia Shakespeare, in 2003. The two were innocent bystanders, tragically shot dead during a gang retaliation attack. Their deaths marked a turning point in the conflict, as the public's horror at the senseless violence led to an outpouring of grief and anger. This attack, intended for a member of the Johnson crew, shattered the lives of the girls' families and highlighted the indiscriminate nature of gang violence. The gang members involved in the attack seemed to have abandoned any moral code, with no regard for the lives of innocent people. The killing sparked widespread outrage and demanded that something be done to end the violence. Despite the outrage, the cycle of violence did not stop. The families of the victims continued to face intimidation and harassment, and the gangs themselves continued their brutal conflict. The tragic deaths of these two girls, far from ending the bloodshed, only deepened the divide and fueled the rage of both gangs. The violence didn't end with the deaths of Ellis and Shakespeare. If anything, it escalated further. The Burger Bar Boys and the Johnson crew, each seeking to avenge the deaths of their own members or to maintain control, became embroiled in a deadly tit-for-tat that lasted for years. Even as law enforcement tightened its grip, the fear of retaliation kept many witnesses silent, and the gangs continued to operate with impunity. Over the years, several members of both gangs faced legal consequences for their actions. Notable figures from the Burger Bar Boys, such as Marcus Ellis, Nathan Martin, and Michael Gregory, were involved in several high-profile criminal cases, including murders and violent assaults. However, despite the legal setbacks, many of the gang members managed to escape conviction, either through a lack of concrete evidence or because key witnesses refused to testify out of fear. Despite multiple efforts by law enforcement to disrupt their operations, including major raids and high-profile trials, the gangs have proven remarkably resilient. Their influence is still felt in Birmingham and the surrounding areas, and their rivalry continues to disrupt life in many communities. The police have attempted to curb the influence of the Burger Bar Boys and the Johnson crew, including issuing Britain's largest gang injunction in 2017. This ban, which affected 18 key members, was intended to limit their ability to operate in Birmingham and prevent them from glorifying their violent lifestyle through music and media. However, even with this legal pressure, the gangs have found ways to continue their operations. In the years since, both gangs have faced significant losses. Many of their leaders have been imprisoned, while others have sought refuge outside Birmingham. The fear of retaliation continues to hang over the families of the victims and anyone who dares to speak out. Despite the years of violence, the spectre of these gangs' resurgence remains a real concern as they maintain a grip on the underworld in Birmingham. The ongoing violence and intimidation tactics used by both the Burger Bar Boys and the Johnson crew serve as a stark reminder of the dangers that can emerge when communities are left to fend for themselves. The sense of fear and lawlessness that these gangs have created has profoundly affected the city's social fabric, leaving lasting scars on those who have been caught in their path. As we look back at the legacy of the Burger Bar Boys and the Johnson crew, it becomes clear that this is more than just a story of gangs. It's a story of how violence, fear, and power can destroy communities, and how the relentless pursuit of dominance can lead to years of suffering. Even as law enforcement continues its efforts to curb gang activity, the scars left by this rivalry are still visible in Birmingham today. The question remains: will the Burger Bar Boys and the Johnson crew ever be fully dismantled, or will their grip on Birmingham streets continue to haunt the city for generations to come? Join us in the comments and share your thoughts on the ongoing struggle between these two powerful gangs. Have things improved in Birmingham, or is the battle still raging beneath the surface?
On the video, no, Burger Bar and Johnson will not be dismantled until Christ returns.
That's right.
Because the police can't do it, the governments can't do it, and our communities can't do it. But this is a demonstration, this video, and let me say Salakia, we had a technical itch in the class, so we played the video 3 times, and it wasn't until the 4th time we played it, I know you guys in the stream and online finally got to hear and watch the video. But there will be no peace in our communities while we're disobedient to the Most High God, and we'll always be divided. There'll always be Berger and Johnson, and there'll always be Gooch and Doddington, and there'll always be Latin Kings and Nietas, and there'll always be Bloods and Crips, for the simple reason is because we're disobedient and we can't get it together. And that spirit that was in our people 3,000 years ago under the reign of King Solomon, that spirit still exists in our people today. Get me Ephesians 2:14, Baba Kashar. But there's a man that's going to come back and save us from this divide. There's a man that's going to come back, and what he taught to the 12 tribes 2,000 years ago is still embedded in our people to this day, in the ISUPK under Commanding General Yohanna. And this is why we push what Hamashiach Yahushai pushed 2,000 years ago, so we can get rid of the divide that exists amongst us today in this world, with Burger Bar and Johnson, with the Christian church, with the Islamic church. Our people have only one place in this life, and that's in the ISUPK under the command of General Yohanna, the home of the truth. That's it, period. There's nothing difficult about this. Let's see what Christ did for us back then, and what he's always done for us, and what he's going to come back and do for us. Ephesians 2:14. Read that, Baba Kusha.
Oh God. The book of Ephesians 2 verse 14. For he is our peace.
He is our what?
Our peace.
No, he is our mayhem.
Our peace.
He is our chaos.
Our peace.
Read.
Who hath made both one.
So who made Ephraim and Judah one? Who made Bloods and the Crips one? Who made Bergabar and Johnson one? Read that again from the top.
Ephesians 2 verse 14. For he is our peace, who hath made both one, and hath broken the middle wall of partition between us. The middle wall of partition.
And broken down the middle wall of partition between us. Broken that border of north and south. Broken that border of West Coast, Tupac, East Coast, Biggie Smalls. Broken down that border of DHC, Rowlett's Hill. Have broken down that border of St. Anne's Meadows. Have broken down that border of Bloods and Crips.
Right.
Have broken down that border of Bergabar and Johnson. Read that again, Barbara Krishan.
Verse 14. For he is our peace, who hath made both one, and hath broken down the wall, the middle wall of partition between us.
Damn, if it wasn't for Christ, we'd be in big trouble.
That's right.
That's right.
Huge trouble if it wasn't for our King, the King of all kings. Hamashiach Yahushai, aka Jesus the Christ. Give me 1 Kings 16 and 21, Baba Kashar. This is why the laws are so important. We're going to see why the law is so important in 1 Kings, the 16th chapter. When you're ready, Baba Kashar, read that.
The book of 1 Kings 16 verse 21. Then we, the people of Israel, divided into two parts.
Read that again.
Then we, the people of Israel, divided into two parts.
So we, the people of Israel, this is before the northern and the southern kingdom, before the divide. Read it again, Baba Kashar.
Then were the people of Israel divided into two parts. Half of the people followed Tibni.
Or Tibni.
The son of...
Read it again. Read it properly.
Then were the people of Israel divided into two parts. Half of the people followed Tibni, the son of Kenath, to make him king, and half followed Omri.
Okay, so do we get this? This is why the law is so important. Without the law, we have no brotherhood, no sisterhood. We're disobedient. Okay, read that again, Baba Kashar.
Okay. Then were the people of Israel divided into two parts. Half of the people followed Tibni, the son of Kenath.
So half the people followed Tibni. Okay, this is the split between the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. So Tibni was one of the leaders of our people. Read.
And to make them king and half follow Omri.
Okay, so here's the other leader, Omri and Tibni. Read verse 23.
Verse 23 and 22. 23.
Okay, so Omri is the leader of the southern kingdom of Judah, and Tibni is the leader of the northern kingdom. Okay, read.
Verse 23. In 30th.
Slakia, verse 22.
But the people that followed Omri prevailed against the people that followed Tibni, the son of Kenath. So Tibni died, and Omri reigned.
Okay, so actually this is a split within a split. I just taught that Omri was the leader of the southern kingdom, Judah. No, he wasn't. These were two leaders in the northern kingdom. Okay, and there was a split, and one died, and one took reins of all of the northern kingdom. Okay, was that, what verse was that, Moses?
That is 22.
Okay, without the law, we have no brotherhood, no sisterhood. We fight, we argue, we covet each other's goods, we commit adultery, we bear false witness, and have an evil eye for each other. And we've just seen it in the video with the Burger Bar and Johnson. This spirit has always been in us and always been on us. There's nothing we can do to stop this spirit, the spirit of division, until we come back to the Most High God and start keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments. Finish off with verse 23, Baba Kasha.
Verse 23, in the 31st year of Asa, king of Judah, began Omri to reign over Israel 12 years. 6 years reigned he in Tazar.
Tazar, yeah. So here we've got, in the 31st year, Asa was the king of Judah. Okay, and Omri reigned in Israel for 12 years. 6 years reigned he in Tizar. Okay, so we're talking about the split here in the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. And after Omri took over the northern kingdom, after Tibni died, he never made it. And this is like Berger and Johnson feuding with each other for years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, ongoing feud. And then two people fall out in Johnson, and there's another split in Johnson. This is what happened here, and this is what we're reading about. We cannot get it together, Israel. Why? Because we're disobedient, and the Most High God keeps us divided. He keeps us in the Christian church. He keeps us in the gang culture. He keeps our people divided until we learn to get it together, until we embrace obedience, until we keep our oaths, until we keep these laws, statutes, and commandments. Do we all understand this? Give me Romans 13 and 8, Baba Kashar. Romans 13 and 8.
The book of Romans 13 verse 8.
And this is how we honor the Most High God. Read.
Oh no man anything.
Do what?
Oh no man anything.
Oh no man anything. This is the Apostle Paul. He scribed the book of Romans. He says, oh no man anything. Read.
But to love one another.
But to do what?
Love one another.
No, to join Berger or Johnson.
To love one another.
No, to join Bloods and Crips.
To love one another.
Read.
For he that loveth another hath fulfilled the law.
Okay, because brotherhood and sisterhood is damn near 9/8 of the law, 9/10 of the law. To love each other is lawful. Read that again, Baba Kashar.
Okay. Verse 8. Oh no man anything, but to love one another. For he that loveth another hath fulfilled the law.
And just to reiterate, this is how we should honor the Most High God. This is how we honor the Most High God. And who else do we honor? Who else do we owe honor to? Who saved us? Christ, our Lord and our King. This is how we honor the Most High in Christ, by keeping our oath and conquering that division, because we can never conquer Berger and Johnson or the Bloods and the Crips or DHC and Braunston until we come back to these laws, statutes, and commandments. It cannot be done. It's impossible. And if you think that marching and doing what's the word? What's the term? Protests. If you think marching and keeping protests is stronger or a better remedy and cure than the Spirit of the Most High God, that shows you how delusional our people are. It shows you how delusional we are.
That's right.
Last precept, and we'll wrap it up. 1 Peter 2:17, Baba Kashar. If you think that protesting and waving banners in Birmingham city centre and Leicester city centre and Gloucester town centre and marching up and down with 500 people is going to change anything, you might as well put a tin bin on your head and keep ram raiding into a brick wall, just running into it, because that's what you're doing. That's what you're doing. You're ram raiding into a brick wall with a tin bin on your head. It's bizarre and it's useless. What you need to do to conquer this division that's amongst our people is come back to the Most High God and keep these laws, statutes, and commandments. And you do that by joining the ISUPK under the command of General Yana. 1 Peter 2:17. Read that, Bob.
1 Peter 2 verse 17. Honor all men.
Do what?
Honor all men.
Okay, this is brotherhood. This is brotherhood according to Peter. Read.
Love the brotherhood.
Love the what?
Love the brotherhood.
No, love the Burger Bar.
Love the brotherhood.
Love the Johnson.
Love the brotherhood.
Love the Bloods and the Crips.
Love the brotherhood.
Read.
Fear God.
Do
Honor
what?
the king.
Do what?
Fear God.
Fear God. Read.
Honor the king.
Honor Hamashiach Yahushai, the King of all kings. Read.
Verse 18. Servant, be subjected to your master.
Okay, Joe, we just want verse 17 and let's finish off. So, observing and keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High God is to fear him. So when Peter says fear God, he means keep the law. Keep the Most High God's judgments and commandments. And this is how we conquer this division amongst our people. This is how we get Mexicans to love Colombians. This is how we get Puerto Ricans to love Cubans. This is how we get Native Americans to love Afro-Caribbeans and so-called Afro-Americans. There's even a divide between Afro-Caribbeans and Afro-Americans. They're not us, we're not them. It's bizarre. We're the same people. According to our records, we're the same damn people. We came out of the same nutsack. Excuse the terminology. We all came out of the same seed. Period. And you cannot sit up in that Christian church in denial any longer. This is not what's going to divide us. You cannot march through Birmingham city centre with banners protesting. This is not going to gel us back together, weld us back together. But what is these laws, statutes, and commandments and obedience to the Most High God. To fear him, to love him, is to keep the law. Yeah, do as Christ taught. This is what Christ taught us 2,000 years ago. He wasn't teaching us to be in that Christian church or to follow idols. This is what Christ was teaching us. Do as Christ taught. Don't allow his sacrifice to be meaningless. Don't allow the death and the sacrifice of Christ to keep you in the Burger Bar crew. Or keep you in the Johnson crew, or keep you in that Christian church. Because while you're in these places and you're in these gangs, you're far from Christ, and we will always be divided. There never has been and never will be a man like Christ. And we've got to listen to his words and live by them. And we've got to keep these laws, statutes, and commandments and come back to the Most High God. And that's the only way we conquer this division among our people. And with that said, I'm going to wrap up the class, hand it over to Officer Mozart. Clap it up. Just one last thing, just Salakia for the itch tonight. We had a technical problem and we couldn't use the laptop in class. So we did run the video 3 or 4 times, but eventually you got to hear the video, and we just give thanks to the Spirit of the Most High God for that. And Saturday we've got street camp in Leicester, town centre at the clock tower from, I believe, 12 till 5 or 1 till 12 till 5. And weather permitting. And then straight after that, we've got class at 5:30 to 7:30 at Maidstone Road, the Caribbean Centre in Highfield, St. Peter's Estate, Highfields, Leicester. Come down, come one, come all, bring your families, bring your parents, your grandparents, your brothers, your sisters, bring all your questions and get some light out of the dark that you're living in. Okay, and who knows, there may be an ISUPK amongst one of you brothers, or an ISUPK sister amongst one of you sisters that's stuck up in that Christian church. With that being said, I'm going to hand the class over for the security announcements to Officer Mozart. Okay, we're going to skip the security announcements.
Man of Israel, Ahmadiam Shabbat, Ahmadiam Barak,
Yahweh Hashem Yahushai B'Kadah.
Yahweh Hashem Yahshua Barakatah,
Yahweh Hashem Yahushai Brakatum.
Yazamata, class dismissed.
Did you go, Jim?